Welcome everybody. It's really cool to be meeting with the panel of presenters that we have lined up for our February 26 and 27 Successful General Practice Owner Conference, Thriving as a Leader. And what a year the past month has been. It feels like we have done more in most years in the first month of 2022. And so I don't really think the rest of 2022 is going to be much different. And so what's really important for general practice owners out there is that we put together the best of the people that we know that serve this sector, so as that you can all have a clear pathway towards a successful general practice in the year ahead. And first up, I'm really excited to introduce two people I know really well, Cody Thompson and Dale Beaumont, that we have collaborated with to put together a business called GP Hero. And I won't tell you anything more about that. I'm going to hand over to you first, Dale, and then Cody, if you could fill in the gaps after Dale, that'd be awesome.
Fantastic. It's great to be here. I'm really looking forward to presenting alongside Cody and so many other superstars that have great content and information to share. Our contribution to the event will be showing people how to leverage the power of offsite or remote teams to better manage and grow their GP practice. So I know this is something that you may have heard of before around how to use, whether it be the power of virtual assistants. Some people call them distributed teams. Some people call them remote teams, offsite teams. But one of the challenges that we're all facing as business owners right now is we have an unprecedented shortage of labor in this country. And as we all know, it is right now very hard and difficult to find really top quality staff. And there's certain challenges about having a business where you're only relying on on-site or local people, especially given the conditions that we're in right now in this pandemic world around having staff being able to work from other locations. It's really important to open your mind up to new ways of doing things. So in the presentation, we'll be talking about what are the benefits around having redundancies in your business, like having an offshore or remote team. We'll be also talking about all of the concerns and risks and challenges around it as well, and addressing your concerns around things like security, compliance, privacy, accreditation, and all those other really important things. And then we'll be going through the 7 steps to basically build an offsite team and showing you exactly what to do step by step. And I'll be sharing my personal experience along with Cody's experience. Together, we've now hired more than 100 staff that now work for our respective companies offsite, and that gives us a lot of benefits that we'll expand on and tell you more about during our presentation. But I'd now like to pass it over to Cody to fill in the gaps and share with us some other things that we're going to learn during the presentation. So over to you, Cody.
Yeah, you covered it pretty well, Dale. I guess my contribution will be around just highlighting some of the key steps. So I'm on the ground there in the Philippines a lot, and together with Dale, we have launched several companies over there. We've got 100 staff of our own, as Dale mentioned, and we've helped about 50 other companies to build offshore teams. So I'm going to go through the specifics of exactly how you can go away and recruit team members overseas. And so we're going to go through the steps of everything from, finalizing a job description through to onboarding that staff member in your business. So it's going to be a great session. We're going to give you all the tools to go away and do it yourself. And of course, there'll be an opportunity if you would like to work with us. We can help you to fast track that as well. So that's what we'll be covering off in our session.
Awesome. Thanks, Dale. Thanks, Cody. Enjoy your afternoon.
Thanks, guys.
Now, it's really important, obviously, if you're going to look at running a flexible team. So that might mean that you have your existing team and they work from flexible environments. Some might be working from home. They might be working from another location, or indeed you may have an offsite team. It's really important that you lay down the right foundations with your tech, because if you don't do that, you're going to end up in a ton of trouble. And so Daniel Church from DJC is the man to speak to about that. Daniel, I'm going to throw to you for a bit of feedback on the session you'll be running at the event.
Thank you, Todd. Daniel Church from DJC, and I'll be here to discuss how we can help secure your medical clinic against current day cyber threats. The reality is that things have changed, cybercrime is on the rise, and the time is now to review your current risk posture. And I'm looking forward to discussing how cloud adoption can deliver security, accessibility, and scalability to your medical practice. Thanks, Todd.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. And if you're going to be doing that with your IT, the odds are you're probably going to be needing telephone systems to back that up. And most recently, the federal government reactivated their billing for a long consultation to be conducted over telephone. Why it was removed in the first place, who knows? That seemed like a very stupid approach to take, but that is what we can expect from federal government in the current environment. Without throwing in the political deep end, Richard, I'd love you to have a bit of a chat. Richard Boothby from Switch Telecom, just chatting a bit about how you can have flexible phone systems to meet your needs in the current environment and indeed the future.
Yeah, thank you very much, Todd. And yes, we're well and truly skilled at dealing with political challenges, and anyone who's had telecommunications, I'm sure everyone has a horror story where they've had to deal with, waiting on hold for 2 hours, being disconnected, not having the same person call you back, problem after problem. So we know what people experience. We know what medical practices struggle with, and that is why we're excited to share with you how to lead your business into the future using technology, specifically voice technology. And the reason why that's important is because imagine trying to run your practice without voice, without a phone number, without a way for your clients, your patients, and your staff to contact you. Without that ability, they will be not very happy. So there's 3 things I'm going to talk about, and that's going to be how to use technology to lead your business into the future through scaling, how to do that through using detailed reporting to get the most out of your business by pulling data out of your phone system to provide you with critical information so you can run your business more successfully. And the third thing is how to mobilize your staff to work from anywhere so that they can work from home, they can work from another office, so they can still use the same phone system and work literally any location as long as they have an internet connection. The 3 things I will share with you though, that's only a secret available for those that attend, is 3 things you must not do with your phones. 3 things you must absolutely not do. I'm looking forward to sharing with you. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Todd.
Cool. Thanks, Richard. When you first said, running your practice without a phone, I reckon there's probably a whole bunch of receptionists Australia-wide that are going, actually, you know what, that just might not be a bad plan. But it's not particularly community or patient centric. But yeah, we are going to need to know how to use this technology intelligently and how to get the most out of your phones. I think the real frame here is how do you control the phones rather than the phones controlling you. I'm really looking forward to hearing your session. Thanks very much, Richard. And while we're talking about data, the thing that probably has been really difficult to manage this year, because a lot of clinics will have been doing, high volume vaccine clinics whilst they're running general practice. They'll be bulk billing for a certain period of time. Then they're offering private billing through telehealth, be it by phone, video. There's just a lot of data that's come in, and it's just really, really critical to be on top of your numbers at any time. But if you are not on top of your numbers at the moment, you're likely to be in a lot more trouble. And so what I want to introduce to you now is Ryan Zeller of GP Bookkeeping Services, just to chat a little bit about what he's going to be talking about at the 2-day event. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Todd. My name is Ryan. Hi, everyone. My background is on finance, and I've been doing finance in general practice for about 5 years now. And I think the main focus for my session that I'll be looking at is a couple of the pain points and the focus the general practitioners go through during this, this past 2 years. It's been, it feels like 10 years, but it's only been 2 years that we've been going through this COVID scenario. And like Todd said, we've been going through a lot. And when we do go through a lot of these things, what's important is to keep a track of your numbers. So the main things that I'll be focusing during my session will be touching on the foundation layers, making sure we've got the right systems, the right plugins and the automations in place, making sure that you've got right reporting in place, making sure you've got those benchmarks, the KPIs that you're looking at, because that's important when you tackle, and it's not at the end of the month, but just tackling it on a week-to-week basis. And at the end, just the day-to-day management of your finances, because that's the last thing as general practitioners that we focus on. but it's one of the most important things that we need to focus on. So what I'm going to be focusing on is how we simplify that and making sure that we get those reports on time. And at the end of it, general practice, we need to make sure that we make money, we make the big bucks, the profit. And that's what I'm going to touch on at my session as well. And I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. If it's little bucks or big bucks, you need to know what it is. I think that's really important. Imagine watching a game of sport and there were no regular updates, no timely updates to the score, and the score came 2 or 4 weeks later, and you only found out later on. That would be a ridiculous scenario, but that's how a lot of people run their businesses. And so we really do want to shift people to having timely data, timely information around the financial scoreboard in their practice. Thanks, Ryan. Really looking forward to that. And until we're able to automate things to the point where we have robots everywhere, and that might be the dream of some people, at the moment, we're still got humans pretty well occupying all of those roles in the org chart. And so where there are humans, there are, I'm going to say, problems. Of course, there are opportunities, but there are often problems as well, some friction, some heat. And that's when we might need somebody who's an expert in HR, not necessarily to come to the rescue, because if we're using them proactively, we would be on top of these things before they occur. But Tom is a resident expert on HR. And Tom, I'd love to throw to you just to hear a bit about what people can expect from your session at our 2-day event.
Great, thanks, Todd. So at the moment, we're hearing a lot about 2 things: the Great Resignation, which is coming if it's not already here and impacting your business. And the second one is skill shortages, right? So 2 challenges which the majority of businesses and business owners are dealing with currently. So for me, the easiest way to avoid the impact of both of those challenges is to look after our own, right? To create a really great workplace experience, a brilliant workplace culture, for everyone to enjoy, and that has a significant commercial value for you as the business owner. So through my session, I'm going to teach and work through how to build a really simple but robust HR strategy that is very manageable to deliver in and amongst the complexity and the challenges of business as usual in your day-to-day roles. So that will be my focus, Todd, the foundations of building a great HR strategy to avoid the pitfalls and challenges of staff turnover, of employment-related risk, and a number of the other challenges which will arise from time to time or somewhat consistently, because we're dealing with people.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I think this is not a year for business as usual and just kind of ignoring the reality of these circumstances. We know that to turn over staff is sometimes it's good to do intentionally, but you want to make sure that you are not having excess turnover, because that's a very, very expensive problem to face. So that will be a super valuable session. Thank you for that, Tom. And Caitlin Peakfield is the National Head of CBA Health Strategy. So Caitlin, again, CBA is the largest bank, and I remember in our previous conversations you sharing that it was 40% or more of all transactions that they had oversight over, and it's great that the CBA are taking a bigger interest in health, and you'll be talking a little bit about what type of impact you're making in the sector and in which ways you're going to be serving the sector that we talk about, general practice owners in particular. So over to you for a bit more detail about your session.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. And look, we're still canvassing a couple of options with the team at the moment and haven't landed on exactly a topic, but keen just to articulate our broader proposition for healthcare and what we can do to support general practice, in particular through finance, and probably give particular attention to the work that we're taking to market in about a month's time with our new health claiming solution, which will enable search, book, pay and claim all through your digital device, something that's not currently available in market with the in-app payment. And so that's the sort of thing that we're looking to highlight, the ability for practices to improve productivity through technology like the ones that we'll be offering.
Based on conversations we're having with practice owners Australia-wide, simplifying payment solutions, particularly for telehealth, will be super, super popular because it's a really big source of friction when systems weren't built to accommodate this type of care. And we do need to make it easy for people, otherwise they just won't choose to use that pathway. So that will be a fabulous session. And you've always got a lot of data that you'll share with the team as to what's going on in the marketplace. So thank you for that. Really looking forward to that session from the CBA. Next up, Dr. Emily Carroll, who is a GP and a practice owner in sunny Adelaide, previously fairly undisturbed Adelaide in regard to COVID, but it was a fairly quick wake-up call, as with some of the non-COVID states. Emily's works with us at Scalmo Clinic and is a super experienced practice owner. We'll be walking us through the leadership journey, some conversations with successful practice owners and also practice managers, that team being really important, of course. So I'd love to hear from you, Emily, as to what your session will entail.
Fantastic. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, so really looking forward to everyone joining me, as Todd said, to talk and hear the journey of both a practice owner and a practice manager. As we all know, leadership in general practice, you're serving both your community of patients, but also your community of doctors and other staff, and getting the balance right between meeting everyone's needs while having a sustainable business is really important. Leadership in general practice is a journey, not a destination. And it'll be great to kind of hear those journeys of other people who've been there, the lessons that we can take away and the experiences that we can relate to. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Emily. Yeah, look, it's really good just to see, relationships that work really well. All success is built on the back of foundation relationships. And so it's really good sometimes to see what's working so you can model that behavior in your own environment and hopefully get the best out of it. Thank you, Emily. Next up, Dr. Sachin Patel, a longtime friend and business partner of mine. Sachin, what can we expect from your session at the two-day event?
Cheers, Todd. So my session, as we heard from everyone, it's been a challenging time. There are 5 drivers that are key to profitability in your practice. So we're just going to break it down, right down to those 5, and then go deep into them and show exactly how each of those 5 can be influenced in order to create a more profitable business and sustainability, which allows us to serve our communities further, wider, deeper, and better than we have done in the past.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sachin. That sounds like a great session. I'm looking forward to it. I always see a little bit of what you prepare in advance, but I always watch and learn something, at least one thing, usually 2 or 3. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And then I think we should also let everyone know about our keynote speaker. So our keynote speaker, I'm really, really excited to announce who that is. It's Holly Ransom, who has been declared as one of Australia's 100 most influential women by the AFR in their last list. She's travelled far and wide and learnt from, interviewed and spent time with people as diverse as Barack Obama, Richard Branson, Mohammed Yunus, the AI robot Sophia she's interviewed. She's gone far and wide, and she's really well known for being a really powerful speaker, a company director, who's also very big on inclusion, equality and diversity, which is, as we've spoken about before at SGPO events, an essential ingredient to create a competitive advantage in your business. So she's going to be talking to us about how we can thrive as leaders in this current environment and bringing those principles to bear on the problems we're facing at the moment.
Fantastic. And I will be talking about 7 tactics to outperform in 2022. It's going to be we've already spoken about this, it's going to be a really difficult year, and it's not a time to assume that what worked in 2020 and 2021 is going to work this year. So I'll be talking about the details around what you need to be thinking about in order to be ahead of the pack by the end of the year. I think if we ignore the kind of mega trends that are at play, both in the business world more broadly, but in our sector, then we're just going to find that the work required to catch up will be so much greater than if we're regularly thinking about these things. And if you could pick 3, 4 of these things to actually implement this year, you may not get to doing all 7, then you're probably going to find that this is your biggest year of opportunity ever. But if you ignore all of them, I'll suggest to you that you will be well behind your peers and will be struggling to catch up. And we know that that sort of catch-up phase is usually exhausting and expensive. So let's not do that. Let's make sure that we are in a position to take advantage of the opportunities that were presented to us this year as well. So really exciting opportunity, great lineup. You'll get a lot of value from all of the speakers that we have that are going to be there for you. And one more special session that we're going to declare a little bit later. That's a secret, but will be really cool. You'll get a chance to speak to some really interesting people that have achieved great things in the general practice ownership space. So thanks all for attending, and we look forward to seeing you on February 26th and 27th.